If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better. I've been a Navy SEAL for 36 years. Every morning in SEAL training, my instructors, who at the time were all Vietnam veterans, would show up in my barracks room, and the first thing they'd do was inspect my bed. If you did it right, the corners would be square, the covers would be pulled tight, the pillow centered just under the headboard, and the extra blanket folded neatly at the foot of the rack. It was a simple task, mundane at best, but every morning we were required to make our bed to perfection. It seemed a little ridiculous at the time, particularly in light of the fact that we were aspiring to be real warriors, tough, battle-hardened SEALs. But the wisdom of this simple act has been proven to me many times over. It matters not whether you ever served a day in uniform. It matters not your gender, your ethnic or religious background, your orientation, or your social status. Our struggles in this world are similar, and the lessons to overcome those struggles and to move forward, changing ourselves and changing the world around us, will apply equally to all. If you think it's hard to change the lives of 10 people, change their lives forever, you're wrong. I saw it happen every day in Iraq and Afghanistan. But changing the world can happen anywhere, and anyone can do it. So what starts here can indeed change the world. You will likely fail often. It will be painful. It will be discouraging. At times, it will test you to your very core. At that darkest moment of the mission is a time when you need to be calm, when you must be calm, when you must be composed, when all your tactical skills, your physical power, and your inner strength must be brought to bear. If you want to change the world, you must be your very best in the darkest moments. If I have learned anything in my time traveling the world, it is the power of hope. The power of one person, a Washington, a Lincoln, King, Mandela, and even a young girl from Pakistan, Malala. One person can change the world by giving people hope. Start each day with a task completed. Find someone to help you through life. Respect everyone. Know that life is not fair and that you will fail often. But if you take some risks, step up when the times are the toughest, face down the bullies, lift up the downtrodden, and never ever give up. If you do these things, the next generation and the generations that follow will live in a world far better than the one we have today. And what started here will indeed have changed the world for the better. Finally, in SEAL training, there's a bell. A brass bell that hangs in the center of the compound for all the students to see. All you have to do to quit is ring the bell. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to wake up at 5 o'clock. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to be in the freezing cold swims. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to do the runs, the obstacle course, the PT, and you no longer have to endure the hardships of training. All you have to do is ring the bell to get out. If you want to change the world, don't ever ring the bell. The average American will meet 10,000 people in their lifetime. 10,000 people, that's a lot of folks. But if every one of you changed the lives of just 10 people, and each one of those people changed the lives of another 10 people, and another 10, that in 5 generations, 125 years, the class of 2014 will have changed the lives of 800 million people. Over twice the population of the United States. Go one more generation, and you can change the entire population of the world, 8 billion people. Generations were saved by one decision, one person. What will the world look like after you change it? Well, I'm confident that it will look much, much better. You can't change the world alone. You will need some help. And to truly get from your starting point to your destination takes friends, colleagues, the goodwill of strangers. And while these lessons were learned during my time in the military, I can assure you that it matters not whether you ever served a day in uniform. I have a few suggestions that may help you on your way to a better world. SEAL training, which is 6 months long, really was a microcosm of life. I mean, it was about the challenges that you had every day in SEAL training were the same sort of challenges you were going to face in life. You were going to fail. You had to build relationships. There were going to be bullies out there. There were bad things that happened in that 6 months that, to me, after, now almost 37 years after I had gone through SEAL training, I realized that it really was a reflection of life at large. In my class, we had an American Indian, we had, African Americans, we had, Polish, French, we had a lot of first generation kids. There's only one thing that we all have in common, and it isn't our physical fitness. It's the fact that we didn't quit. But you're going to have 1,000 opportunities to quit in your career, to quit on your family, to quit on your friends, to quit on the mission. But if you have learned early on that the one thing that sets you apart is that you don't quit, then you can make it through those tough times. I didn't want to be a quitter. I didn't want someone to think that I wasn't tough enough to make it through. When in command, command. You're in charge, take charge. Make the hard decisions, because that's what people expect when you are the commander. You know that as a leader, you have a responsibility to the men and women that you are leading. When things are their toughest, that's when they need you the most. And that's when you see the real courage come out. If there is a way out of the problem set, those that don't have the courage will run. Those that do will stay and fight. And it is always the man or the woman on your left and right. How much do you care about them? Are you willing to sacrifice your life so that they can live? But at some point in time, it becomes a calling. And it is when it becomes a calling that it has this effect on you that is hard to explain to people. Yeah, we have problems today, but here's why I am optimistic. I have great faith in this young generation. I think people are always surprised by that when I say that. It's a great generation of young men and women. Every generation thinks the next generation isn't good enough because they didn't walk 3 miles in the snow to get to school or whatever. Well, I'm telling you, this generation is absolutely good enough to get us out of whatever problems we're in. And so I always remain optimistic. You have to.
For me personally, there's no lack of urgency when I wake up in the morning to think, oh, don't worry, I got all the time in the world, because I know I don't. And I'm lucky to be here, and I'm gonna try and live in a way that will at least do justice for my friends that aren't here. I think about that every day. All that fear that's in your head, all the what ifs and the scenarios that you create inside your own mind that are way worse than anything that is actually gonna happen, they all disappear when you go. So just take action and start moving forward. That is the moment that can last 1,000,000 years, is waiting to go. And I found I'm pretty good at it now, where, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that is. This feeling of caution and fear and all that stuff in the back of my head, yeah, I just need to get rid of all that and just go.
It seems to go away when I move toward it.
Yeah, it does go away. The more you sit there and think about it, the worse it's gonna get in your own head.
the single greatest skill that you can develop is being in a great mood in the absence of things to be in a great mood about. Most people don't question someone who's in a bad mood. Like, I'm just in a bad mood. So it's like, well, if you can be in a bad mood for no reason, it's like you might as well be in a good mood for no reason, because that one at least serves you. On one degree, there's like, let's count things to be grateful for. On the other side, why do I have to have things to be grateful for in order to be in a good mood? Why is trying to find things a requirement of being in that mood? Can I not find things and still choose to be in a good mood? Because I've certainly not had things to be in a bad mood about and been in a bad mood. What if I could just be in a good mood? And so I've just tried to break that relationship between the two, because then it makes it contingent on something that I can find.
How successful have you been at that?
Mediocre.
But what's funny about it all is that we don't take a second to realize the purpose is always there. The purpose never leaves us, because the very purpose is you. You are always the purpose. There may be another purpose, like being a SEAL or going to college or whatever, but the main purpose in life is you. So if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do something, you don't care enough about yourself. And that's what you need to really research is, man, why am I not doing this for myself? Because that is the number one purpose in life, is to better oneself. So the reason I get up every day, even though there's no race or there's no school, there's nothing in front of me, is because I have pride in myself.
But where do you go to? You wake up on a morning, it's cold, it's wet, it's dark. You've got these problems.
I need you to keep talking about what you were just saying.
It's warm on the couch.
That's
Your
it.
missus says stay in
That's
bed.
it.
It's comfy,
That's
it's cozy.
That's
You've got
it.
work later on. You had an argument last night. You're slightly
it.
hungover.
That fires me up. I know only I can fix these problems, because I have to face these problems. That brings joy to my life right there, because I know there's so many people that have the ability and just refuse to get off that couch, refuse to study a few more hours, refuse to go deeper, to go further. And that's where I gain the advantage. It's so easy to be great nowadays, my friend, because most people are weak. Most people don't want to go to that extra mile. Most people don't want to find that extra, because it sucks. It's miserable. It's lonely. And that used to hurt me. Now I thrive in it. That's the only place to be. So that's the only purpose I need.
For me, it's going to accomplish something, to have some sort of purpose.
Right.
I'm still working on getting better on vacations. My wife knows that I'm much easier to get along with on vacation if I get a couple hours to write in the morning and get a workout in. I wish I could go 2 weeks with going, hey man, whatever. But I get antsy, I get edgy. I'm not present because I need a little time to go break a sweat, mentally, physically. And then the rest of the day I'm great.
You have to do things to take care of yourself today, but you also have to take into account the well-being of your future self. Find a passion or orientation that takes care of you today, that satiates your itch today, but that also doesn't alienate the people that you love that are around you. Perhaps the answer to your problems today is to work abroad, figure out a situation where you can work remotely, develop a routine where in the mornings you work out, you drink coffee, and you do your work for 4 or 5 hours, and then every afternoon you commit to doing a different hike or to doing a different kind of hobby. So you're kind of ticking all those boxes of satiating your need for novelty and adventure and enthrallment while being responsible and meeting the criteria of taking care of your future self and taking care of yourself.
At the end of every day, you look yourself in the mirror and you ask yourself, did I get better today? If the answer is yes, and you do that for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, how much better are you gonna be? Are you getting better every single day? That's the question, right? And it's just taking small steps. You don't try to get it all done in one day, in 1 week, in 1 year, right? It's the process of getting better every day. And the idea is a very simple one. Trying to be the best version of yourself.
If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better. So if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed.
We are very unique creatures on this planet. We live on 3 different planes, don't we? Only we have self-awareness. We have the sense of purpose. And we live on 3 planes. The physical plane, like this is a vehicle, this, your body is a vessel, a vehicle. And so we live on that physical plane, but we're also energy. We're radiance, we're a soul, we're a spirit, we're energy. And then somewhere beyond between those 2, there's the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that you have. So you're living on life on 3 planes. And as you get older, assuming you're doing the work, because wisdom is not just age, wisdom is experience, your soul, your consciousness gets wiser as your body begins to deteriorate. And this is why you hear old folks always saying, if I could just go back, like, what do they say? Age is wasted on the youth. That term exists because if I just knew what I know now, then, oh my gosh, what I could have done in my 20s, they say, right? I have greater self-control, greater self-mastery, more in line with what my God-given source purpose is. And there I still have thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and I have to master those so that I could keep driving towards my God-given purpose. And so the inner voice is constantly fighting with those 3 factors. The reasons our negative self-talk exists is just, that's your conscience. Your conscience has no other way of getting your attention other than making you feel bad, making you feel shame, guilt, anxiety, depression. That's how your conscience knocks on your door and says, dude, you're living incongruently with how you believe you should be living. And that's why I'm giving you negative thoughts, negative voices in your head. Just literally flip the switch and tomorrow live congruently to the man you want to be.
I'm inspired by practicality and reality and the truth, which is, it is ridiculously impossible to become a human being. I am one. I have other good things going for me as a human being, and I'm just grateful. You're dwelling and looking at what you don't have versus looking at what you have. I'm trying to get people to practice reframing their perspective. If I wake up in the morning and nobody I love passed away or came down with a terminal illness, then my day starts off great. There's nothing you'll ever accomplish that's more remarkable than that you have a chance to accomplish something.
Anything you could think of, if you could actually think of it, it means you can do it. So if it pops up in your brain, it means that you have the ability to do it. Why? Because the brain would never think of something that it could not do.
See, let me share something with you. The easiest thing I've ever done was to earn $1 million. The most difficult thing I've ever done was to believe it could happen to me. That was the most difficult part, to believe.